You will know it is a place where one equals.
哎，一个一个。
Imagine the more each carrying a however, the idea of a smooth steps on the side.
Hello, Mr. George.
For the sake of our story,
How much you pay for the new guy?
Ray walks like a
20 bucks? No, too much money.
with a confidence hands together as if preparing for a heroic the plank, however, rises as well. Lightly touched by the very my friend, as the earliest sign the sun begins to climb another worker, whom I'll call they are light, flexible, and simple. Ben picks up the staff.
Well, you idiot. Motherfucker, here we go! God damn it!
But as he begins to walk, one sheet tilts forward, another tilts Ben tries
Пью свою фирмовую фушку-гонку.
pure dedication, and for a moment, settle around him like oversized. Simply picks them up again as if this choreography. While these small events unfold, the sound changing equipment. He steps back. All of this process becomes a moment of calm. He maintains is a flawless blend of surprise. Designed specifically. Construction site feels warm and vibrant. One worker shares a story about his weekend.
Yeah, that would work. I'll eat it if I just make it. Yeah,
Amid these he lifts it with the strength of the accidentally grabbed the box containing the moment he lifts it, his knee but he keeps a straight face. extended motion from where he stands. He stretches his flexibility is far greater than not reach the tree, but instead of
Henk, ja Henk, met je woord, goeiedag.
Dag, jongen.
Ja, ik sta hier met die band in Frankrijk.
turns ordinary tasks into delightful upset or discouraged. Instead, they embrace it, shrug it off, and move on with admirable spirit. Caleb picks it up with a look. He folds the paper, tucks it into his pocket, and these are always every worker where several workers are preparing. Among them is a man named Oliver.
Kijk wel, hè?
Pushing the roll forward. But halfway through the path, Oliver James. For a brief moment, it stays alive. As observers, we can see Oliver trying to maintain full dignity, also eventually, the roll stops cooperating. Instead of relaxing, it wobbles in place. Oliver pauses, faces takes a deep breath. He then and whispers something to me. The role must appreciate his sincerity. Surprise and enthusiasm. Compilation skills and continues he gives the role a gentle pat. Not far from Oliver. It involves two workers named jokingly steps away. It stays still now. Lunch approaches. Carrying a bucket of harmless construction. Extraordinary caution, almost too careful. As he walks, he focuses intensely on avoiding small pebbles and uneven ground. Yeah! When he reaches Samuel treats every brush stroke as if he is creating a life. He positions his material against and dips the brush with deliberate intention. His first stroke glides smoothly across the surface. The second stroke follows with then, as he the bird passes over. His hand twitches, and instead of
Sin miedo, mijo, sin miedo.
he creates a dramatic swirl.
Agárrate bien,
He pauses,
agárrate bien.
studies the swirl, and instead of fixing it, he steps back with a look of artistic pride. He nods as if deciding the swirl adds character to the A coworker walks by and looks at the swirl. Samuel simply says, in the calmest tone, that every creation deserves a touch of personality. Soon the lunch break arrives. Workers gather around different shaded areas of the site, each taking a moment to rest. But even during the break, the comedic rhythm does not pause. One worker opens his lunch container, only to discover that instead of frustration, he stares at it, then slowly begins eating onion, accepting his fate. Another worker tries to open a tray, but the cap resists. He uses every polite method imaginable, twisting gently, adjusting his grip, tapping the cap lightly. Eventually, a colleague opens with a single effortless motion. The worker stares at him with admiration and mild confusion, as if witnessing a hidden talent. After lunch, the energy shifts as the workers return to their tasks.
Yes, Michael,
refreshed.
Michael.
The next series of
I have
scenes
a problem.
begins with a worker named Ethan who is unloading boxes from a pallet. The boxes are small enough to carry in pairs. Confidently, he begins walking across the site with the stride of a man ready to conquer any problem. But halfway through the journey, one box starts to tilt. He adjusts slightly, trying to keep both boxes balanced. Then the second box tilts in the opposite direction.
Tecnologia!
Adrian responds with a series of small
Tecnologia!
balancing motions, moving his elbows outward like a tightrope walker maintaining remarkably calculated. For a few seconds, it seems like the box is waiting. Adrian manages to regain full control and sets them down triumphantly. He dusts off his hands, nods with satisfaction, and walks away with the pride of someone who has overcome a challenge and truly understands. Nearby, another worker named Felix is checking a set of boards. He leans one board against the stack, intending to let it rest while he inspects another. However, the board has its own plans. It slowly begins leaning forward without Felix noticing. Just as it is about to touch the
Tecnologia!
Felix
Tecnologia!
turns around and
Tecnologia!
catches it with both
Tecnologia!
hands, almost like an athlete intercepting a pass. He stands still for a moment, impressed by his own reflexes, then glances around to see if anyone witnessed his quick save. His coworker across the site raises a hand, and Felix responds with a modest nod, pretending the moment was absolutely intentional. The afternoon continues with quiet but
Блять, уж как нихуя не работает.
And so the narration goes on, flowing through every corner of the site, capturing each unplanned gesture. As the afternoon establishes a steady rhythm, the construction site becomes a blend of soft chatter, purposeful footsteps, and the sort of unintended comedy that emerges naturally whenever people concentrate deeply on simple tasks. My attention drifts to a worker named Peter, a thoughtful man who always believes in double checking even the smallest detail. Today, his mission involves aligning a series of lightweight markers along the straight line. It is a job meant to be complete quickly, but Henry prefers precision. He places his observes it closely, and then adjusts it. Satisfied, he places the second marker, then steps back again, analyzing the line as if he is inspecting an important piece of art. But midway through the alignment process, Henry notices an unexpected issue. The shadow cast by a nearby structure makes the markers appear slightly.
Hello?
Henry tilts his head back,
Malik!
trying to determine if the markers are truly off or whether the illusion is being tricked. After a minute of contemplation, he decides to adjust the lens more. Shifting it so slightly that even the person standing beside him would struggle to notice the difference. When he finally steps back and surveys his work, he nods with the kind of satisfaction usually reserved for completing a complex architectural project. One of his co-workers walks by, glances at the markers, and says they look excellent. Henry accepts the compliment as though he just finished constructing an entire building. Not far away, a worker named Nolan is preparing materials for the next stage of the site. Nolan is known for his calm manner and the way he approaches tasks as though every object deserves respect. When he reaches the final board, he taps the corners lightly to ensure the problem is solved. But just as he finishes, a light breeze stirs.
Dacă prostii ardurea, scuză mă, că cum ar trebui să locuiești într-un depozit de
For a moment to see if the breeze will return. It does. The board lifts by the tiniest measure, as though refusing to settle. Nolan smiles, as if accepting that even a board can have its own preferences. After adjusting it once more, he places a small object on top. Acknowledging the simple truce between man and machine. The next scene unfolds near a shaded area where two workers, Leonard and Mason, are measuring a section of the site. Leonard stretches the tape measure while Mason marks the spots with chalk. The coordination between them is smooth until Leonard pulls the tape a bit too enthusiastically. The tape snaps back slightly and surprises both. Leonard maintains his composure, but his eyebrows raise just enough for Mason to notice the micro-expression of surprise. Mason laughs softly, not in a mocking way, but with the quiet amusement of someone who has experienced the same unexpected recoil many times. Leonard unrolls the tape again, this time with a gentle touch, and both continue working as though nothing happened. Meanwhile, a worker named Elliot is organizing tools on a small table. He arranges them in a row, grouping them by purpose, and adjusts the spacing to move the balance display. When he finishes, he stands back and observes the arrangement with pride. But as he turns to leave, he accidentally touches the corner of the table with his
Ó pai, ó, como é que pode aí? Ó pai, como é que abre cimento, ó pai. Ó,
He steps
vai lá,
away
ó.
slowly this time, watching the tools out of the corner of his eye. Satisfied, he walks off confidently, as though he has just resolved a diplomatic situation between himself and the table. Across the site, the sound of light-hearted conversation begins to rise. Another pair debates the best sequential movements, speaking with the Despite the labor, the atmosphere is one of shared camaraderie. Then comes a moment involving a worker named Brent, who is transporting a small but one of its wheels tends to swivel unpredictably. Grant begins moving the cart along a straight path, confident it will follow him without issue. But a few feet in, the rebellious will turn sideways, hoping to guide the wheel back to the wheel resists. Grant adjusts again. This pattern repeats itself as Grant performs a subtle dance with the cart, both of them shifting left and right in unspoken negotiation. Eventually, Grant stops, crashes, and then returns the wheel into the correct position. He stands up again, resumes walking, and this time the cart follows him perfectly, as if acknowledging Grant's gentle yet firm approach. A short distance away, a worker named Owen is in the middle of marking measurements on the board. He bends down, draws a line, steps back, checks the alignment. Then he reaches for his pencil, only to realize it has somehow He picks it up, draws the next line, and again the pencil slips out of his fingers and rolls a few inches off. Owen returns it once more, this time holding it carefully. When he places it on the edge of the pencil, he rolls it, following a subtle slope on the surface. Instead of frustration, Owen simply lets go into the side, then places the pencil inside his shirt pocket so it can no longer escape. With this small victory,
Bueno, empecé por quitar un tornillo y
as
pues...
the afternoon stretches into later hours, a soft golden hue begins to overlay the construction site, adding warmth to the environment. Shadows lengthen, and the light flickers gently as it passes through scaffolding, tools, and stone. This natural shift brings out a sense of calm, but the humor
خوراقی ما
continues
قلب
steady.
ایدابسلام خرابسلام یاغو
One of the
جایدم
next amusing scenes involves a worker. He is organizing a bundle of clothes, dipping them carefully to avoid tearing. His technique is precise, loose one impressive circle. But then, as he holds the neatly coiled cable, one end slips freely and just left to disrupt the symmetry. Patrick pauses, examining the slight imperfections that he sees in his work. He slowly recoils the loose section, restores the perfect circle, and then secures it with a band. He lifts the finished coil to dry, almost expecting a round of applause for his attention to detail. Even though no one sees it, the satisfaction on his face is unmistakable. As I stand narrating these scenes, a gentle sense of appreciation settles over me. The construction site is more than a place where structures rise. It is a stage filled with countless small moments that reflect the humanity, humor, and spirit of the people. Every small accident, every improvised solution contributes to the And so the day continues, filled with quiet calm, returning workers, and scenes that narrate themselves through their natural charm. As the late afternoon unfolds, the construction site settles into a steady pace, but the natural stream of amusing moments continues as effortlessly as ever. I shift my attention toward a worker named Marcus, who is methodically organizing a set of small markers in a crate. Marcus is known for being calm and diligent, often moving with the meticulousness of someone sorting rare collectibles. Today, however, the crate he is working with seems determined to test his patience in the gentlest way possible. Marcus picks up each marker and places it precisely into one of the divider slots. But as he nears the final row, he realizes that one of the slots is slightly narrower than the rest. He attempts to slide the marker, but the marker moves sideways and settles against the edge instead. Marcus tries adjusting his angle. The marker After several attempts, he squints at the slot, as though expecting it to respond with an exclamation. He then taps the
Başkan ciğer bandımızı uzumuz imicimide vurup öldürecek.
Marcus sighs softly, rotates the marker 90 degrees, and tries again. This time, with a gentle as though achieving a personal victory, then closes the lid of the crate. Nearby, the next scene develops with a worker named Damien, who is preparing chalk lines along a temporary walkway. He stretches a chalk string across the ground, pulling it taut. When he snaps it against the ground, the line marks it and seals it. Encouraged, Damien moves on to the next section, repeating the process. Everything proceeds flawlessly until a small patch of uneven ground causes him to lose balance at just a moment. The chalk line flicks upward and leaves a faint streak across the air, reaching far down. Damien observes the unintended flourish, tilts his head, and gives a nod of acceptance. Then, with an newfound efficiency, he smooths the uneven patch with his shoe and continues marking the wall. A coworker passing by notices the unexpected extra line and asks if it's part of the landscape. Damien responds by saying that creativity appears when least expected. As the sun dips a little lower, the shadows stretch across the construction site, creating long silhouettes that sway gently. This shot is similar to the light-hearted moments, including the one unfolding next with a worker named Sean. His task involves checking the position of several light poles temporarily installed for the